Hello ladies and gentlemen, this is PT13 back on Streets of Rage 4. So today I'm going to carry on with survival mode. I've only got 2 or 3 characters left to do, so let's go. So we're going to do Axel, Streets of Rage 2. La-da-da. God damn you, electric. The funny thing is, you got no idea what the Streets of Rage 2 or Streets of Rage 3 characters are saying. To me, it sounds like hula da da da. At least with the Streets of Rage 4 characters, you can completely understand what they're saying. Streets of Rage 1 to 3, you haven't got a clue. I wonder what the recording was like. You want you to say like some recording lines, but it's gonna be like a bit distorted, and no one's gonna know what you sound like. Sweet, 4 rockets. It's like a Streets of Rage 1. It's like the most I got the voice actors go, just make your best, yeah, and your death screams. They go, yep, that's it. But tell you what though, it is funny and fun to play some video games with really poor either poor dialogue or poor recording. It's like with Resident Evil, the PlayStation 1 version. Like everybody agrees, it has the best. Oh, Streets of Rage 1 fighter. Like everyone will agree, it has the best gameplay, but the dialogue and the voice acting is really bad. It's like, Jill, take this lockpick, as you, the master of locking, will need this. Right. asshole. So yeah, so there's also like House of the Dead 2. Like that game also had like the best gameplay, but the dialogue was the dialogue and the voice acting was hilarious. But it's no matter. I think it's no matter what version you play of House of the Dead 2. It's when you see like the very first boss, that flying demon. For some reason, he says get him. He says like get him or get them, but for some reason, it cuts out. It's like it says get. And it just cuts out, you know, like it doesn't say the dialogue at all. So you're thinking, right, where is the recording for it? It's like where did it go? It doesn't matter what version you play of House of the Dead 2. For some reason, the line "get them" or "get him" is cut out. Like it just cuts out for some reason. It's just hilarious. But I've played House of the Dead 2, but I didn't really focus on its voice acting. I just cared about shooting the fuck out of the zombies. Actually, I should keep that for the next boss, actually, thinking about it. Fucking hell, pick up the chicken, Axel. I could just see that was gonna happen. Yeah, I think definitely improve the speed. Axel 2 seems to be quite slow. Okay, who's going to be the boss? Miss Y. Fuck you. Let's get some health before I die. Okay, I didn't notice he was doing that. Look how so low my health is. It's bullshit. And I'm on level 9. Jesus Christ. The fuck? Oh, I must have hit the gold pipe on the ball. Really? That's a fucking joke. Tiger knee. Alright, let's give that a go. Because that is a fucking joke. Definitely a Muay Thai move, the Tiger Knee. It's definitely Muay Thai. Flame Fire, Tiger Knee. Oh yeah, I did like a little research on Blaze to see how old is she in Streets of Rage 4, and for some reason she's 21 for some reason. No, which like really surprised me. So, alright, so she's 21. You know, which like really surprised me. But I don't know whether she's meant to be 21 in the first Streets of Rage and stuff like that. But I just checked and apparently, yeah, she's 21, but doesn't really make any sense how, because you can clearly see that Adam and Axel definitely aged. But we're so reading with Blaze. Oh, I do apologise for that yawn, ladies and gentlemen. For some reason, for Blaze, some reason, not age, look like she didn't age at all. And you can definitely tell, you know, Streets of Rage definitely takes a lot of years after the events of the third game and the rest. So you can definitely tell it's, you know, many years later, because Axel like looks like in his 20s, or you know, like his 20s in the Streets of Rage 1 to 3, and you can definitely tell in you know, they definitely aged him in this game, but for some reason yeah, Blaze for some reason is the only one who didn't age. You know, you expected, you know, Blaze, you know, Axel in this game looks like he's in his maybe 40s to maybe late 30s to 40s. You know, as a guess. You know, as a good guess. You know, yeah, as you know, in his maybe, yeah, late 30s to 40s. So with Blaze, you expect her to be somewhere around maybe 30s to 40s, but for some reason, according to the research, no, she stayed in her 20s. You know, very strange. Right, it can be like that with some video games where the characters don't even seem to not age, they don't seem like they're aging. So it's almost like probably, let's say, quite maybe similar with Ada in Resident Evil series. She doesn't look like she ages at all. It's like you can definitely tell with Chris and Leon, yeah, they're definitely aging. You can definitely tell they're aging. I don't know, maybe Claire Redfield, like in Resident Evil, didn't look like she aged that much. But that's just my opinion. But she didn't look like... No, she aged. She hasn't aged at all, Claire Redfield. I know, like with something like with kids, some kids' cartoons, even though like, I do beg your pardon for the yawn again. I do apologize. But it's like, I know, like with some kids' cartoons, they never age the characters, even though they've been around for how long? Or like, you know, or like in some cartoons, or it's like in some cartoons where as the show gets older, but like you can see the technology is getting better, you know, like the technology and the setting is changing around the characters, but somehow they're not even aging at all, which is like hilarious. So like for example, it's like with the Simpsons, like they've because it's the Simpsons are moving in time with the in time, you know, what technology that is in real life. Like the technology like moves on in real life, but for some weird reason, none of the characters do not age. They're like, what's going on? Like, for example, like you can see the Simpsons characters are using like the smart iPhones, you know, which is the phone it's been using in today's present. But for some reason, none of them has aged. It's just like how the hell can Bart still be 10 years old and Lisa is still 8 and Maggie is God knows what age she is. Yeah, it's just find it a little bit, it's like hilarious. And also, like for some reason now, it's like it's difficult to pinpoint what age the Simpsons characters are, you know, especially the adults. Because in some episodes where Homer or Marge will reveal their age, and then you think, oh, that's how old they are. But then suddenly in another episode of The Simpsons, they reveal, I am actually this age, and you're thinking, hang on, didn't they say they were a different age in a previous episode, like years back? You know, I just find it hilarious. Okay, I'm definitely not getting the money and that boomerang. And if you look at the like for example the you know, Bart, like Bart and Lisa. So when The Simpsons was very popular, like in the 90s, and The Simpsons growing up in the 90s, in the episode, it said that Bart and Lisa were both born in the 80s, and Maggie was born in the 90s. So you're thinking, yeah, that makes logical sense. So Homer and Marge. Oh, Streets of Rage 2 versus Streets of Rage 3. Yeah, so it makes like Homer and Marge. I think they went to school roughly around the 70s, or maybe the 70s. Yeah, definitely the 70s. Maybe the late 80s, because I think Bart and Lisa were born around the late 80s. So that would make logical sense. So that means they bought so probably so Marge and Homer would be like born around somewhere around the 1960s. So something. Yeah, definitely around the 1960s. So, stuff like that. So that would make logical sense where Homer and Marge will be. So you find now, like, okay, so Bart and Lisa born in the 80s. That means late 80s. That means Homer and Marge must have grown up in the high school in the 70s, late 70s, early 80s. Born in the 60s, so you're thinking, yeah, that makes logical sense. So really, say if Homer and Marge were aging now, aging like they should do in The Simpsons, that means both Homer and Marge will be in their 50s. So logical sense. And then like their kids would be, if they were born in the 80s, they will be both be in their 30s. And if late 80s, they'll both be in their 30s. So really Bart and Lisa should be in their 30s, while Maggie should be in her late 20s, depending, up to you guys what year in the 90s she was born in. So you got all that logical sense there, but as the Simpsons got older and was staying with time. Getting with the times. Making sure the Simpsons were in modern times. When they talk about, when Bart and Lisa were younger, or when Homer and Marge were younger, the year of births and when Homer and Marge went to school seems to keep changing all the time. So for some reason, like Bart and Lisa, say now born in 20, if the Simpsons say is set in 2021, at this moment. So for Bart is still 10, and Lisa is still 8. For some reason, that will make Bart born in 2011 and make Lisa born in the year 2003. So that means that doesn't make any sense because they've been around since the 90s, the 80s and the 90s. So how can they be born in the 2000s? No, I got that wrong. 2020 take away 10 is actually 2011. Sorry, 2011. Got that wrong. 2011 and 2013. So that would actually make Bart born in 2011 and make Lisa born in 2013. So that would not make any sense, and that mean Homer and Marge went to school, let's say around the late 90s and 2000s. So it's just that's how cartoons just make aging just so not making sense. But I know you guys are thinking, like, why am I making such a long, massive debate about this? It's a cartoon, you're not really meant to follow it. Because yes, you're definitely right, but if you've got like a storyline and you've said in that storyline the characters are this age and the characters are born in that, then you change it again, it will cause a bit of a plot hole. And that's what the Simpsons has done. It's caused a plot hole. What actual years the Simpson family is born and what their actual ages are. Yeah, because originally, Homer and Marge were meant to be born in the 60s, grew up as kids and teenagers and young adults in the 70s and 80s, while Bart and Lisa in the 80s. But then, so it did explain a backstory where you can definitely see, Bart is growing up in the 80s, you can clearly see that. But then suddenly there's another episode where they talk about their past, and you can clearly see now Bart, for some reason, is grown up in the 90s, and Marge and Homer are teenagers in the 80s, and you're just thinking, but weren't they teenagers in the 70s? And there is like a couple of episodes where the Simpson characters do have their birthdays, and it's like, okay, but how the hell they're the same age? It's hilarious. It's just hilarious. But if you actually go on YouTube, there are a few YouTube channels have done videos about the plot hole of working out the Simpsons characters' actual age. Yeah, and there was a massive like one plot hole. I don't know whether I don't know if it's canon or not, but the Simpsons did do a canon. I don't know if it's part of the Simpsons, but I don't think I'm not sure it's part of whether it's canon or not. But they went with a storyline where Homer and Marge were growing up in the 90s, and Homer got himself into a grunge band, which obviously was based on the band Nirvana, and Kirk was obviously a reference to Kurt Cobain. You know, it was reference to Kurt Cobain and Nirvana. So, but you're thinking, how can Homer be a Kurt Cobain reference and be part of Nirvana in the 90s? He grew up in the 70s and 80s. Makes no sense. But so trust me, it's not like The Simpsons is not the only cartoon where it doesn't have characters who don't age at all. It's not the only cartoon. Like another cartoon has done this problem as well, where the characters don't seem to age, is South Park. Like that's another cartoon where just none of the kids don't seem to age at all, which is hilarious. Yeah, so the same again, the technology updates, you know, like it updates to modern time, but for some reason they do not age, and for some reason the kids at school, you know, the kids at school don't age at all, even though they're in like different class grades. You know, we could see this, we have seen this happen where the main kids went from third grade to fourth grade. Yeah, and there is an episode, you know, there has been a few episodes where the characters had their birthday. You know, there was an episode of Stan, you know, gets his birthday, and there's an episode where Eric Cartman gets his birthday, which is a really funny one because he was really pissed off that Kyle didn't get him one of the Mega or Power Rangers look-alike sort of toy, which is hilarious, and he got him a funny game called Ants in the Pants. But because I think the kids in South Park, I think they're meant to be 8 years old. Are meant to be 8 years old in South Park, 8 years old. But South Park has been around since 1997. So if they were born, if it first say like it was, so say they're 8 years old in 1997, So that means the main 4 boys should be born in 1989. Should be born in 1989. You know, making them, if they were aging in 2021, which make them be in their 30s. So we'll make the boys 32 years old, but for some reason they're not. So it's like the boys, they're going from being born in 1989 to whatever. It's just hilarious. It's the same thing, like, in other words, Pokemon, like Ash, just never ages. You know, maybe maybe in the cartoon world, you know, maybe they know something how not to age. You never know. Probably they hold the secret cartoon and anime characters. They probably know how to age. So that's my theory. Probably cartoon characters know how not to age. But I know I've just gone like a full-on, God knows how long, debate about, not debate, but whole about cartoon characters not aging, but it is interesting when you do look at it. But obviously it doesn't, you know, work in TV series. You know, at least like in TV series, at least they obviously had to acknowledge that the characters are aging in TV series. Because obviously, you know, the actors will obviously get older, and so if they're going to child actors, obviously, you know, they will notice. You bastard. I bet you was health in that. Tornado kick and Dragon's dash blow. So only got one move left for Axel 2, which is not going to take... probably might take about a good 15 levels. And then just move on to number 3. Let's see there. Well, that is hilarious, but I just found it hilarious in animated cartoons where characters do not age whatsoever, and like the Yeah, and and sometimes the then like the developer, you know, the people, not the developers, that's totally different. And the creators of the show just like they acknowledge, like, yeah, we know they don't age, but we do acknowledge it. We do have to change their year of birth. But I know, like, in The Simpsons, going back to The Simpsons, but I know, like, there's a few episodes where, yes, the characters, you know, they have aged, and you see what they do in the future. Yeah, we have seen that happening, and there was a video of YouTube where you've got the Simpsons family album, you know, them aging through the episodes. But it's just crazy. But I don't think people will probably pick up a... I don't think people will pick up a notice, like, or not really bother, you know, if they don't mention the age of the animated characters and stuff, or what year they were born, what year they were born, stuff like that, or when they do a backstory. You know, they make sure that their backstory is in the right year, you know, when they're actually born. But that's what people have the problem. That's why people did have a problem with The Simpsons, you know, working out the year, because every time, you know, when The Simpsons do a backstory, it's always set in a different era, and it doesn't really make any sense to the story. So if you look, like, say, like Homer and Marge, like Homer and Marge, you know, they didn't go to prom together, but they were building up on that. So obviously Marge went to prom with Al, but you're thinking that would have happened probably maybe somewhere around 1979 or maybe 1980 or 1981, maybe around them times, maybe. Yeah, so probably will happen around maybe 1979 or maybe the 80s, but then suddenly, you know, when you go to another backstory, for some reason, oh, they did this in the 90s, you know, they did this in the late 80s, like now late 80s, moving to 90s, but somehow, you know, when it shows like Homer and Marge doing something in the backstory, but wait a minute, but where does, like, say, the story of, you know, Marge and Homer doing the prom together? Well, not the prom together, but going to the prom, leaving high school. So it doesn't really match with that at all. Like, making no sense. Again. So, because like I said, I don't know whether this the episode of Homer being Kurt Cobain and Nirvana, but so you're thinking, but where is, you know, the backstory to that? So really getting with the times, you know, the characters, you know, they've got to stay as the same age with modern times. But the problem is, though, if you've done a backstory, say this is their age, this is what they did in that year, but then you move into modern times and say, oh, now that this age at this year, and it's just like, yeah, now you've really complicated it. But here's the thing, I can't really say there is not a lot of... I don't think there's not really any video games in top of my mind where video game characters don't age at all. Because, you know, they definitely do age. I don't think that there's not really a video game that I can't really think at the top of my mind that does not have video game characters aging at all. But I know some people would say, but what about the Pokemon series? But I don't think that really counts, and because technically because you play as Red, and every time you play as Red, you know, at least Red always looks different. So at least you you know, at least that makes more sense, you know, like when you play as Red. Excuse me, at least Red always looks different. But I don't know, but I think Streets of Rage is the only video game. It's like one of those, definitely one of those games I can say, yeah, you have not aged at all. Because like with Blaze, but I have to say though, a video game, well, normally with video game, what definitely that follows the trend where characters don't age at all has to be fighting games. You know, for some reason, definitely in fighting games, for some reason, fighting game characters don't, not always, but some, like, for some reason, don't age at all. For example, if you look at the Tekken series, like some of the Tekken characters, for some reason, don't age at all. Like, for example, if you look at the Tekken, like Nina and Anna Williams, for some reason, they do not age. Pissing off, bitch. Oh, is there any health anywhere? No, of course there isn't. Yeah, because like, if you look at Nina Williams, I don't know what because I don't know what era the first Tekken because I don't know what era the first Tekken it is set in, so I haven't got a clue, so I can't really say what year, you know, the first. That's fucking embarrassing. Level 9 again, that's fucking embarrassing. And fuck you. Gonna try ground upper. Yeah, so I can't really say what year Tekken 1, 2 and what year Tekken 1 and 2 is set in. Tekken 3 is definitely set probably something like about 15 or 16 years years later after the second game, because Heihachi ages he ages in that game, and so does martial law. Even though you don't play as martial law in Tekken 3, but he does make a cameo in Tekken 3 beginner demo, you know, where like entrance demo. So you can definitely see that Heihachi and Heihachi has aged, but for some reason Nina and Anna didn't age at all, which is really weird. And then in the fourth game, Tekken 4, it is set 20 years later after the events of the second game, because it tells you at the beginning of number 4, it tells you it's set 20 years later. So Heihachi aged, martial law somewhat aged, some sort of what aged in that game, and so does Paul Phoenix. But for some reason with Nina Williams, no, she doesn't age at all. She still looks like she's still in her mid to late 20s. And here's the thing, is she's got a son. Tekken spoilers here, if you never played Tekken, but Tekken spoilers here. Nina Williams has a son, which is Steve Fox. So I'm guessing Steve Fox must be in his 20s. Let's just say, yeah, he's in his 20s. Let's just say somewhere around, say 21, something like that. For example, say like 21 years old. So if he's like 21, so Nina Williams should be like in her going into her 40s. But for some reason, Nina Williams doesn't look like she's in her 40s at all. She still looks like, you fucking cunt. Hit me with the lead pipe. Yeah, so she doesn't look like she's in her 40s at all. She looks like she's still in her 20s. And we look at Steve and Nina Williams together. they look like they're the same age, for fuck's sake. He says like, "Oh, you're my mom." It's like, dude, she looks like, it's like, dude, with you two being looking like nearly the same fucking age, she looks like to be like old enough to be your sister. Oh, crazy. Just absolutely crazy. But I think they're the only... Yeah, Dead or Alive, I can't really say, because I played Dead or Alive 3 to 5. So I can't really say about... about their aging, and I don't know whether do they always show different ages in the different when you play 3, 4 and 5, does it show you their age? I know number 5 did, but I can't remember if number 4 did. Yeah, but so far all I know is Streets of Rage 4 with Blaze and Tekken are the only games that I know where for some reason the characters don't seem to age, or like their age is somehow the same, even though the game is definitely set so long into the future, so long after the events of a game they were in. But I don't know if Soul Calibur series will follow that trend either. I don't know. But I do get why I think I do understand why Namco doesn't age Nina Anna, because it probably would look like, I don't know, probably strange, probably off-putting to their characters that they've aged. But that's just my guess. Did that the wrong fucking way. That's what that's what I really think about the whole aging thing, really. In cartoon, TV series, and a cartoon series and anime series and stuff like that. But the only anime series that I've seen that the characters do age up is Dragon Ball Z. You can definitely tell the characters do age in that, except for obviously except for the Saiyans, because they can live a very long life. So Vita Vegeta do explain that. Yeah, because Vegeta in that do explain that the Saiyan race, like, keep their youth look for quite a very long time. good. If I get him to pick up a golden pipe or anything, fantastic. But anyone in the who's in the stream, put in the comments in the stream what video game that you play, or anime or cartoon anime series or anime whatever that does not have the characters age. As you can see, the series goes into modern times, but none of the characters don't age. Yeah, but I think I also was saying about like Nina Williams and Anna Williams. I think the only reason why Namco don't age probably them two, because it would just look off-putting if they were in their 30, if they were in their 40, it would just look a bit maybe off-putting and stuff like that, and probably lose their, I don't know, their popularity if they were old. But that's just my guess. But then you gotta question, Anna and Nina Williams. Like, what's the secret of not aging? Another example, it'd just be really weird, you know, like the Harry Potter films, or or if Harry Potter was a series, you know, like it would make no sense. It would be really weird, like it'd be really weird seeing like none of the school characters not aging. Probably some Streets of Rage fans might say to me, like, but what about, you know, Max and Shiva? They don't look like they've aged. And I can tell you, they have. Massively. But I think that's the weirdest, longest conversation I've ever had on Twitch. Me, on my Twitch streaming, you know, like I'm doing a fighting in a. I'm beating up enemies, but going on about the whole theory about, well, going through the unexplained logic of characters not aging, or somehow stay the same age even though the it's gone into either the present in real life or it's gone forward in the game. But some people have made a theory, like, why in The Simpsons that no one seems to age at all, but the technology and modern time is. The theory goes is that the episode where Homer keeps playing April Fool pranks on Bart, and Bart is sick and tired that Homer always keeps pranking Bart, so Bart's like had enough and he wants to get Homer back to keep pranking on April Fool's Day. So obviously what Bart did was he got a beer can, and he got it really like shaken up, like proper shaken up, where when Homer opens it somehow explodes like a fucking WMD went off. Yeah, like a WMD went off. So in that episode, because thanks to Bart's prank, it got Homer into a coma. Yeah, so it got Homer into a coma. But obviously in that episode, we know Homer wakes up from his coma because Bart reveals the truth. But the reason why he's in that bed with a coma is because of Bart doing that April Fool prank on Homer. And he wakes up and strangles him to death, rightfully so. But we all know, like, yeah, but come on, Homer, you did have that coming. Yes, you should not be in a coma for over a bloody prank and wasting one of Homer's beers. So the question is, what's Homer more angry about? Was he in a Bart put him in a coma, or the fact is that he wasted one of his beers. So yeah, so anyway, so with the theory that some people have why the Simpson characters never seem to age, but Modern Times does. So apparently the theory goes is because Homer is in a coma because of Bart's April Fool jokes prank gone wrong. Homer in his coma, he can't see. Yeah, he can't see. He can't see his family or anything, but he can hear. But apparently, he can hear what his family is saying, and people are saying to him, and what people are saying to him will go into his into his coma dream. into his comatose dream state. So apparently is that I was looking at the partner. Yeah, so Homer is in his coma state and he can hear things from the people around him. So you might hear that, like say, oh, the new, bollocks, that the new, like a new phone is out, or the sat nav has been invented, and all that stuff. So he could obviously hear that from the family. So in his dream state, he's like dreaming the events of, say, like the episode. So when he gets in his coma, everything after everything like that, after the so after the events of that, everything that you see in future episodes is Homer's coma dreams. So that's why. Oh, stronger body now. Yeah. So Homer dreams in his coma state. So everything you see after the episode of his coma, that is apparently what Homer is dreaming in his coma state. But that's why, but because he doesn't know how old, obviously his children are, and he doesn't know what they look like. So the only way he can image his family is keep them at the same age as they are. Keep them the same age as they are, because he knows, what they look like and sound like. Yeah, so that's a theory that some Simpson fans have, or some people have, like why the Simpsons never seem to age. So it's everything after that episode, that's it. Homer, in his coma state, dreams all the events in future in future episodes. But some believe that the theory, some of the that theory, that theory could be true, because if you actually look at it in like a future episode, so excuse me for the yawning again, because in future episodes, it becomes, more like a dream sort of fantasy. For example, like, for some reason, the jockeys are, for some unknown reason, are elves. It's in the episode where Homer and the Simpson family buys a horse. Homer and the family buys a horse, but they realize it's really expensive to keep the horse. So so Homer and Bob had a incredible idea that so Homer and Bob comes up with a brilliant idea to make the horse a race, like a racing, like a race horse, So but obviously when they first race him, he becomes like No, he doesn't have he has no confidence in himself. So Homer and Bart, make him like the most badass horse hitting all of Springfield. And the jockeys are like really jealous that Homer and Bart's horse always keeps winning. That always keeps winning all the time. So the jockeys kidnap Homer, and for some reason they're elves. So there's like probably a good theory there that Homer could be. So there could be one theory there that Homer could be in his dream state, but there are like some evidence to prove that Homer could be dreaming the events in his coma. There are like evidence, but what sort of deletes the evidence is that Homer and Marge, have their backstory in different eras. So that does sort of break, that theory. Whoever came up with it, yeah, it was definitely a good theory. It was definitely interesting, and it makes makes sense. Like it makes sense that it does make sense for the Simpsons characters, but it's not. What the fuck? But it's not the you fucking. Yeah, that's what I was saying, because before I got like really angry that he hit me off the fucking ring and made me lose most of my health. It's not the first cartoon to come up with that theory, like the reason why the characters never age, because the main character might be in a coma state, and in the events everything he sees is his dream, is their dream in a coma state. Yeah, so the other cartoon that came up with this theory is not supposed to be a boss battle. Doesn't matter. Oh yeah, 1620. Yeah, the other cartoon that came up with the theory that the reason why the characters never age around them is Pokemon. That's another theory. That's another one that has that theory why the characters never seem to age. So with the Pokemon theory is, if I can remember the story, is that Ash Ketchum, because he always seems to be age. It always seems to be age 11. It always seems to be age 11. And when you see the nurses and the police lady in Pokemon, they always, they always look the same. But apparently that theory was broken. One of them revealed that apparently that whole family just has just a loads of twins. Yeah, makes like perfect sense. So yeah, apparently they're a huge massive family of sisters, and they always like ended up being like sort of twins. Yeah, so yeah, so that's the theory. So the theory is that, if I remember the story, I think it's 1 or 2. I think the story I heard, I think Ash Ketchum was riding on his bike, and he had a bicycle accident, and he hit his head. Yeah, he had and he hit his head quite hard, which puts him in his coma state. And in his coma state, he dreams about the Pokemon world in his head, and apparently the reason why he only knows what the police officer lady and the nurse, they all look the same, is because he's met them before that he passed out, and that was the last thing he saw before going to the coma state. So I think that's the theory of Ash Ketchum, that the Pokemon world is his coma dream. But I think I'm not sure it's the same story, but the other one, he might be in a coma state, is when he had Pikachu, and Pikachu electrocuted him, that put him in a coma state, and now he dreams about the Pokemon land. But I think the one that sounds more believable is the one that sounds like more believable, I think, is the bicycle one, if I remember correctly. Yeah, but only The Simpsons and Pokemon is the only cartoons that I know that has that theory why the characters never age. South Park, I've not heard any theory stories on the internet why none of the South Park boys or any of the South Park characters age, even though they do have their birthdays, and they do go up to the school grades. But I don't know what the theory is, so I got no idea. But very interesting. I definitely recommend checking out a YouTube channel that goes into theories of why no one sees the age in the Pokemon world and the Simpsons world. Two very interesting theories. And probably to explain it more in detail than I have. But probably another episode that probably breaks the theory about Homer in a coma. About Homer being a coma is that Mr. Smithers reveals to the audience and to Mr. Burns that Homer has worked at the nuclear plant for 18 years. So, like, here's the thing: if he was in a coma, like, but how can Homer work in a plant for like 18 years? Unless somebody in the comments section, or if I look at the more theory a bit more, that could be a hint that Homer's been in a coma for 18 years. Best guess. Definitely doing better on the levels now, though, from level 9 to level 20 to 21. But like it's like in the sense of like if like modern celebrities are like somehow older. Are like somehow older than the Simpson characters. Like for example, like there's an episode where Lady Gaga comes to Springfield. Like Lisa and Bart, like I said, they're both 8 and 10. Bart is 10 and Lisa is 8. Fucking hell. That's a lot of Mr. X that I'm definitely not gonna survive. Because I have very tiny handy left. Yeah, I knew that was gonna be game over with all those Mr. X around. Yeah, so like yeah, so somehow like Lady Gaga comes to Springfield, like Bart is 10 and Lisa is 8, but when they Lady Gaga meets them two, for some reason Lady Gaga is okay, that's definitely a Shoryuken. Spinning dragon upper, yeah. Based on all you can. That's definitely based on all you can. 100%. That's definitely. Right, that's it. One more character to go, or two, which is Axel Streets of Rage 3 and possibility Rue. Yeah, so as I was saying, so I don't know what year. The episode called Lisa Goes Gaga. That's the name of the episode, but I can't remember what year it came out, but it was around the year time where Lady Gaga was very popular. So I think Lady Gaga is born in the 80s, because I know she's in her 30s at the moment. So technically Bart should be a couple of years older than Lady Gaga, and I would say probably Lisa and Lady Gaga should be like the same age. But for some reason that episode, oh no, Lady Gaga is older than them two, but even though they should be around the same age. Silly. But anyway, ladies and gentlemen, this is going to be my end of the stream now, because I gotta go to bed now. I'd like to say thanks to anyone who came on and listened to my deep theory about age. Well, characters, not age, and all that stuff. Deep conversation. So anyway, I'll probably be back on this maybe Monday or Tuesday. But we'll see, and just can't wait to finish the survival mode. So anyway, this has been Protect the Strong Planes, Teacher H4, and I'll see you all next time.